You've saved up $2.5 million and you're wondering, can you afford the vacation home? Or should you be considering just doing a 6-month rental? Or do you have to scratch the idea altogether? And this is a conversation that we have with clients. And on today's Max Retirement Show, we're going to walk you through a hypothetical case of how we help determine if buying the vacation home is going to work out. And then at the end of the show, we're going to wrap up with a listener question about for someone that has their mortgage paid off but looking to move and wondering, is it okay to get a mortgage prior to retirement? Now, for those that are new to the channel, my name's Scott Sierens. I'm a certified financial planner, and we have a retirement planning and investment management firm where our focus is helping people retire and maximizing their retirement story. So let's talk about our hypothetical couple and see if they can afford the vacation home that they were hoping to purchase. So we have Bill and Lynn Sample. Now, we have to understand what they're working with from an asset standpoint and an income standpoint, as well as how much they're going to need for their lifestyle to see if this will all work out. And we're going to go step by step, 3 different things that we're going to look at. One, the assets that they currently have, will that supply their lifestyle? Second step, we're going to throw in the vacation home, see if everything still works out. And then the third step would be also just looking at the vacation rental and see which one is the best option of all 3 for Bill and Lynn Sample. All right, so starting from the top here, we're just taking a look at their assets. As you can see, they have in total investments in cash $2,575,000. Majority of that sitting in tax-deferred IRA accounts, $2.4 million. They do have a little bit of tax-free money and a little bit of money in their brokerage account. All of this comes into play if they are going to buy that vacation home, because they need to be thinking about things from a tax-efficient standpoint too. If you're going to take out a lump sum of money, what's the most tax-efficient way to do it? Now, their current home's around $750,000, and so they have about $3.3 million in total net worth. Now, the other important part is looking at their current cash flow, and based on their current cash flow, what they have saved up, will it help them meet their current expenses? Can they even consider buying a vacation home? And so first off, Bill and Lynn both retired. Their age is 65, as shown at the top there. For their lifestyle and Medicare, so what they need to maintain their lifestyle each and every month is $9,000 a month. Now, Bill and Lynn not only are saying, hey, can we afford the vacation home, but we also don't want it to impact just the regular travel and activities that we prefer to do. And this is the money that they've put in for that. So they want to do about $15,000 a year in travel activities, and they are doing that from their current age, and said, you know what, as we get older, we might not be able to do as much, so let's just run that through age 80. This is what I like to call front-loading the plan. And you'll see as I go through the discussion here, we're going to start to break things up into retirement paychecks and bonus checks. And these travel activities, things outside of the normal lifestyle, I like to call those bonus checks. So they're looking for $15,000 a year of bonus checks from now until age 80. And then their family is really important to them, so they said, you know, we would like to pass on a legacy, if possible, somewhere around $500,000. So we do want to enjoy what we've worked so hard to save up, but maybe we want to pass some money along too. Okay, continuing, moving on. And this is why I've created some colors here, so we could look at different options. First, we're going to look at what's kind of in white. Then we're going to look at what's in green. We've talked with Bill and Lynn Sample about, okay, if you're thinking about a vacation home, how much would it maybe cost? And for them, it was around $500,000. One thing that I find a lot of people don't factor into the plan is if they're going to buy the vacation home, what about the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, all of the extra costs that come with that vacation home, but not just as a one-time cost, on an annual basis. And so it's really important that we factor all of that in as well. Doing the math with them, it seemed to come out to about $15,000 a year. And then the third thing that we're going to look at is, okay, well, maybe the vacation home does or doesn't make sense. Yeah, right, we haven't gone through the process. But if it doesn't make sense, well, then would it make more sense to do a 6-month vacation rental? I didn't really know how much those cost, so I threw in $30,000 a year for them to go rent a place for 6 months. And kind of similar to their other travel, this wouldn't be something that maybe they're going to do forever. It's just until they're age 80. And so, again, looking at these as bonus checks through a certain age. And then Bill and Lynn's sample here, they have Social Security. Bill's $3,400 a month, Lynn's $3,000 a month. Bill plans to take his at age 70, and Lynn is taking hers right away. So now you're seeing what is part of constructing the plan. And as I had mentioned, the first thing that we want to do is look at, will this work out? Well, first off, do they have enough assets just to supply their current lifestyle, travel, and activities? Before we even look at the vacation home, do they have enough to supply what they currently need, the $9,000 a month to live, as well as the $15,000 a year for travel and activities? So let's start there. So to make sure everything's feasible for their current needs, what we're first going to do is we're going to plug in the retirement bonus checks that they were looking for. As you can see here, and I like to just show everything as flat, but we are building in inflation behind the scenes. So we've got the bonus checks built in that they were looking for, travel and activities, $15,000 a year through age 80. So we're building that into the plan. Then we're also going to take a look at all of their different income sources. The dark blue being Lynn's Social Security, the light blue being Bill's Social Security. And then we're going to run some factors and projections on how much we feel like they can take out of their investments and still help make their money last through their retirement. So there's an amount that we feel that they can take out of their investments and make everything last. So when we factor all of that in, that is going to give us our retirement paychecks. The retirement paychecks are factoring in Social Security and an amount that we feel like they can take out of their investments and still help make the investments last. The retirement paychecks are separate from the bonus checks. The bonus checks are in addition to the retirement paychecks. The reason why we factor those in is because the more money that you need for bonus checks, the more activities or vacation homes, the things that you want to do. Well, if we're going to take a lot for bonus checks, well, then it might mean that your retirement paychecks are lower. If you don't need as much for bonus checks, guess what? Your retirement paychecks might be higher. So all of that being said, this is the scenario one where they're not buying a vacation home, but just will their assets provide them enough income for the lifestyle that they want to live? As you can see here for Bill and Lynn, it's saying that their gross income is $14,400 a month. And now again, that's Social Security plus amount that we feel like they can take out of investments. Now, one key thing to know, and I think that people all too often make this common mistake, that $14,400 per month is a gross number. If you remember, a lot of their money actually sat in their IRAs, meaning every dollar that they take out, they're going to pay income tax on it. Now, looking at this and running some scenarios, we would feel that their average tax rate, because they're going to be in different tax rates in the US here, we're in a progressive system, so they're in different some of their money gets taxed at different brackets. Their average tax rate probably around 15%. And so net into their checking would be about $12,240, and this is per month. So the $14,400 per month minus the taxes, $12,240 per month. And then, as I had mentioned, in addition to that would be the bonus checks that we talked about of $15,000 per year for travel and activities. So this first scenario, do they have enough assets to produce the lifestyle and do the travel and activities that they look to do? $12,240 a month is more than the $9,000 a month that they need. So the first scenario here shows that they are in a good position, at least to manage and do everything that they need to do for the current lifestyle that they want to live. So since that looks in good order, now we can move on to step two to say, well, what if they were to buy the vacation home? What if they were to add on another $500,000 bonus check that they want to take out, $500,000 to buy this vacation home. And we could always go down the rabbit hole of take the money out versus the mortgage. But for today, to make things simple, we're just going to say, what if they take out the $500,000 to buy the vacation home? And the additional bonus checks for the taxes, insurance, and maintenance on that vacation home as well. So let's take a look at that next. So with this next scenario, we're plugging in some bonus checks. You can see here, first off, we've got the normal bonus checks, the travel and activities that Bill and Lynn said that, hey, this is really important to us. And then next we've got purchasing the vacation home, $500,000 that they said that would take. And then after that, so that's one big bonus check. And then after that, the bonus checks, and just bonus checks is a nickname, right? But bonus checks for the taxes, insurance, maintenance, and that $15,000 a year, that one would go through the rest of their lives. So that goes all the way to the end of plan. So we go back to look at all of the different income sources. We're looking at Social Security, Lynn's Social Security, Bill's Social Security, and then again, now that they're taking this very large lump sum out at the beginning of their plan, what does that mean to the rest of the retirement paychecks through the rest of their life? So this big withdrawal up front, taking all that money out just means that there's less to utilize to withdraw from on that month-to-month basis. So what kind of impact did it have on Bill and Lynn? Well, you can see their new retirement paychecks, and just a reminder here, those retirement paychecks would be, let me pull up my little drawing tool here. Those retirement paychecks would be, again, made up of Social Security plus money taken out of their investments. Looks like they're looking at $11,200 per month. That's money coming in each and every month, how much we feel they could take out from their investments plus their Social Security and last them through their lifetime. Now again, Bill and Lynn are going to have to factor in taxes, let's say around 15%. And so that puts them at $9,520 per month in retirement paychecks that they have coming in through their life. In addition to that would be the bonus checks. The bonus check of taking the $500,000 out for the home, the bonus check of $15,000 a year for the travel, and then the bonus checks of $15,000 a year for the taxes, insurance, and maintenance on that home. So back to our question, and then we're going to summarize this all at the end so you can compare all three. Can Bill and Lynn Sample make this work? Well, it looks like here, if they only need $9,000 a month for their lifestyle and Medicare, it looks like they'd have $9,520 a month coming in. So could they make it work? Sure. Is that a guarantee that they'll have this money coming in through their retirement? Nothing is a guarantee, especially if you're investing in the stock market. That could go up and down. That's why we put guardrails on their account, and you can see here, if their account balance was to drop below certain levels, we'd have to reach out to Bill and Lynn Sample. Now again, not their fault, not our fault, not the economy's fault, but as you know, being invested, investments do go up and down. And so we'd want to watch and monitor their account, that if their account hits certain values, that they would need to maybe tighten the belt a little bit. And as you can see here, it's not a whole lot. It'd be saying, hey, instead of going from $11,200 a month, would you be okay with $10,600 coming in a month? So that's about what is that there? That's a $600 a month difference. So they'd still be pretty close to $9,000 a month. That could still then work out. But it just depends on if Bill and Lynn feel comfortable with that or not, knowing that they might have to make some adjustments or make some cuts, temporary cuts, but cuts to their bonus checks for travel and activities in the future. If all that's okay with them, well then great, that looks like that could potentially work out as well. Now maybe that feels a little bit uncomfortable, which leads us then into our third option, is looking at the vacation homes and the vacation rentals. And so let's take a look at the vacation rentals. And you'll see here, we're going to put in the bonus checks for that. I'm pulling that up while we're talking. And we're going to look at the expense details here. These are what I call the bonus checks. So we've got the travel and activity bonus checks, and then we've got the vacation rental bonus checks. coming out to them. So we're pre-planning this into the plan, about $30,000 a year through age 80. You'll see these spikes in their plan each and every year as we look at the different cash flows. The yellow spikes, that's the money coming out so they can pay for their 6-month vacation rental. And now what does that do? What does their income look like based on that? And you'll see here with this third scenario, and then we'll summarize them all at the end, that we would feel that between their Social Security and their investments, they'd have about $12,900 a month coming in. And now that's more than the vacation home because they weren't taking that large lump sum out of their accounts right at the beginning of their retirement. That large lump sum gave them kind of less to work with. However, we are saying we do need $30,000 a year. So that's why you're seeing that these retirement paychecks are still going down. So again, let's factor in maybe some tax money there, 15%. And so Bill and Lynn's sample here, let me look at my numbers, $10,965 per month in retirement paychecks, then plus the bonus checks. The bonus checks of the $15,000 a year for travel and $15,000 or $30,000 a year for the vacation home. So is this one possible for them? Well, looks like it is, because if you're to do all those bonus checks, they're still having more than $9,000 a month coming in retirement income. So as you can see, it's a process. First off, we want to say, based on the assets that you have, does all of this work out just for your general lifestyle and the general bonus checks and travel and activities that you want to do? Is that first off feasible? Once we know whether or not that's feasible, then we can start to move on to put other types of bonus checks into the plan. And as we saw here with Bill and Lynn's sample, now I want to summarize the three because there's pros and cons to each. You'll see here the main plan, without any sort of vacations, they were looking at retirement paychecks of $14,400 a month. Don't forget, have to take taxes out of that. Then if we add in the vacation home, because of that large lump sum, it reduced it down to $11,200 a month. And what if instead of the large lump sum, they decided, you know what, we're just gonna go somewhere else for 6 months out of the year, rent a vacation home, and we need about $30,000 a year to do that. Well, then they're looking at $12,900 a month, a little bit more than this because they're not taking that large lump sum out. However, less than that, less than the household plan, because they are taking out an additional $30,000 each and every year. So can they make this work? Well, it appears so, that all of the different options would potentially work. Then, of course, there's pros and cons to each decision. So buy the vacation home, you now have an asset worth $500,000. Let's say it appreciates through your retirement. Things become tight later on in retirement. You now have an asset, $500,000, potentially more, potentially less, depending on how that asset grew, that you'd be able to sell later in your retirement. So you've kept that money as an asset in your overall net worth. However, there's the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, the upkeep, the future work that's going to come along with owning that vacation home. So there's pros and cons. Now, doing the vacation rental, doing that, you just get to travel wherever you want. Have a vacation home, you're going to the same spot every year. The vacation rental, well, maybe this year you're going to Arizona, next year you're going to Florida. I say those two states because we live in Illinois and it gets really cold here in the winters. So a lot of times people are going to find those warmer places. Maybe you live in Florida and you want to go up to Michigan or Wisconsin during the summer months. Go and find somewhere that's a little bit more cool. Either way, you'd be able to change where you're going each and every year. The downsides to that is that money is going into somebody else's asset. But for you, and for Bill and Lynn here in their hypothetical case, it still shows that their plan will work out if they were to do that. And so that's what this is all about, is running the numbers to see what would potentially work out for you. Now, the last thing to really consider here is what I'll say is tax efficiency, because a lot of their money sits in IRAs. A majority of it was in their IRAs. They had some Roth money and some brokerage account money. Now, if they are going to get the vacation home, meaning they're going to need to take out $500,000 to make that payment. A few things to think about. One, take it all from your IRAs and 401ks. All of that money is going to get taxed. That could really push you up into some higher tax brackets. Now, I'm not saying that I'm totally opposed to that, but I'm saying we want to do things in the most tax efficient way possible. Maybe utilize some of the brokerage account. Maybe utilize some of the Roth IRA. Maybe spread the withdrawal for that $500,000 out over a couple years. If we know this is coming for them next year, well, then maybe we want to take some of the money out this year, some of the money out next year to help spread the tax liability and help keep their average tax rate as low as we possibly can. So just a few things to kind of think about there when it comes to their vacation home. As you can tell, taxes are always on our mind. I'm guessing they're on yours as well. And we do have a free guide to unlocking hidden tax savings opportunities. You might find this a benefit if you're looking at large deposits like this, large purchases like this. You're going to have to take money from IRAs, 401ks. You might find that guide super helpful in helping you understand opportunities to reduce your long-term taxes that you'd pay to the IRS. Okay, all of that complete. Let's wrap up with our listener question as part of our show here today. And our listener question was about getting a mortgage. And let me just pull this up. We'll slide down to it here. Our listener question is from Barb. Barb says, I wasn't planning to move, but my dream home just came on the market. My current home is paid off, but I'd have to take out a mortgage if I bought this one. I'm retiring in 5 years. So is this a bad idea for me to have a mortgage? So Barb, while your question is not about a vacation home, the process is actually similar to what we just went through in our discussion about the vacation home. And let me just break this down into some steps. First off, how much will you have coming in your retirement as retirement paychecks? How much can your assets plus your other income sources supply? Let's just, for example, say that you'll have $7,000 a month coming in retirement. Now, that's the possibilities. You might need more or less than that. So let's just say you have $7,000 a month coming in. Now, after that, how much do you need to maintain your lifestyle, pay the taxes, Medicare, insurances, all of that? Now, let's say it's $5,000 a month. Well, if you have the ability to have $7,000 coming in and you need $5,000, that shows me that you've got a $2,000 a month surplus. Now we need to factor in your mortgage. And let's just say we add them, because we're going to have to add the mortgage to your current $5,000 a month needs. Now let's say that mortgage is $3,000 a month. Well, now the math isn't making sense. You needed $5,000. We're going to add $3,000 to it. That would say that you've got an $8,000 a month need, but your assets and your income sources are only going to provide you with $7,000 a month. So in that case, it might not be a good idea to get a mortgage. However, let's just say the mortgage in this case was $1,500 a month. Well, that would put you at $6,500 a month in total expenses. You have the ability to potentially have $7,000 a month coming in. And look at that. That then would potentially work. So take it in steps. How much can you have coming in based on what you have saved up, plus your Social Security, plus other income sources? How much do you need? And then if you add the mortgage to it, are you still going to fall within how much you have coming in? Now, a final step that you may want to consider, because when you get that mortgage, you're paying interest. Part of that mortgage bill isn't just going to pay off your home, but it's going to pay the interest that is owed to the bank. So something else to consider is, should you just pay the house off in full? Now, when you do that, you have less investments to work with. So the $7,000 a month might drop down to $6,500 a month, but you might not have a mortgage payment anymore. And all of those, of course, were just example numbers to help you kind of walk through this. So as you can see, is it a good idea or a bad idea? It really depends on how much money that you can have coming in, and how much money that you need to live your lifestyle and do your things. I find that sometimes people get really excited about a home, want to purchase that home. It's the best home. They feel like it's the greatest home, but guess what? They fail to realize it just doesn't fit within their budget. And they might have and moved into the best home, but now they're having to cut back on their lifestyle because of this home that they wanted to purchase. So run the numbers. Make sure at the end of the day, you're still going to be able to live the lifestyle that you want to live. I hope that you found today's show to be of value and benefit. And if so, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That way you get notified because we're coming out each and every week with new shows on retirement topics, Social Security topics, and tax planning topics. Thanks. Have a great day.